Chapman True, our first duplex, take one.
First, I need to address something though. I've got the side part, the skinny jeans. What are they calling that now? What are the kids calling it these days? Chuggy?
Yeah,
Chuggy?
she's
Chuggy?
chuggy.
Chuggy? I'm chuggy. Chugga. Chuggy! What? I was gonna put an It's Time for Wine picture up here, but...
Chuggy.
Anyway.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chapman True, and we are going to talk about our very first duplex. And as we get into this, please make sure to like, subscribe, do all those things, and follow our journey, because we're talking about all the different things that we're learning as new real estate investors. Even though we've done many things with business over the years, and we like to call ourselves entrepreneurs, this is our early on stages of us being real estate investors. So follow the journey and yeah, tune in. So let's go ahead and get started with our very first duplex overview. What happened with this one?
So I guess first things first, how do we find this one?
I'm digging in my nose. That's itchy. What? So for this one, we were actually working on, if you watched our last video, it was about our problem child. Right. Mm-hmm. So with that one, we said we had an option to have it financed through hard money. Mm-hmm. So we're on the horn with different lenders and everything like that, and we're talking back and forth. And with one of them,
It's disgusting. I like how you're trying to blow it away.
So like we were saying, on our last project, the problem child, we were on the phone with lenders, and they were talking to them about, going ahead and financing that property. Well, we went back to them and said, hey, we're going to end up doing a micro flip on that, most likely, or we're going to hold off for a little bit and decide what we're going to do with it. So we're going to hold off on the financing right now. And one of the lenders messaged us back in the middle of that and said, hey, well, I've got another client that is looking to get out of a property. So do you guys want to maybe look over that one? And we said, yeah, let's look over that. And at the time, we were actually driving to North Carolina to hang out with some family and do all those kind of things. And pretty much over that day, we found the deal via the lending broker. Yep. And he handed us that deal, and we looked over the numbers, and we said, I think this is going to be a good deal. Let's go ahead and pick this up, since there's so many things come and go so fast. We were like, let's go ahead and just jump into this one.
You don't want to sit on stuff too long. So you got the call, I think, the night before, and we said, okay, what's the address? We'll go look at it. So we were heading out of town the next day to go to North Carolina. So on our way leaving town, we stopped there, took a look at it from the outside, hit the road. On the road, I hot-spotted my computer. I'm running numbers. I'm looking at comps. I'm looking at different things. I'm kind of throwing worst-case scenarios into our calculator, things like that, and running through because we knew we were going to have to finance it, what those numbers would look like potentially, talking to the hard money lender in addition on the phone of what it would look like. And the owner of the property was going to call us that day. So we really worked from our car, which is awesome, that day as we were heading out to vacation. So this is a business too, and we always try to choose our businesses where we don't have to be in one place. We always want to have something where we can leave and go and enjoy life experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So in the car on the way there, by the time we got there, we had already spoken with the owner. We had committed to the deal, and they were getting ready to send the contracts over. So that's just how fast things happen. But if we had sat around on it, that lender, we were not the only people he reached out to. There's no doubt in my mind that he reached out to several people, and then that deal would have been off the table had we not acted so fast on it. So.
Right. So that all leads into exactly how we financed it, right? Because we were actually on the horn with the lender about the other one, and he said, hey, I'm already on this one. This is the deal. And what did that look like? So for financing it, we had a hard money loan. Mm-hmm. And what actually goes into a hard money loan? What are we looking at? What are we debating when we're looking at hard money loans?
So when we're looking at hard money loans, we are looking at how much it's going to cost us, right? So, and also, we could probably do a whole video on this, but also how much money that they will lend us. Most hard money lenders will only go up to 70% ARV, which is the after repair value of a house. So they'll say, all right, after it's all fixed up and it looks great and you're ready to sell it, we're only going to lend you 70% of that. So you want to make sure when you're running your numbers that you're accounting for the money that's going to cost you to actually acquire the property, which is points, which is a percentage of the property that the lender is going to take in fees, your closing costs, your down. So you need to factor all that in, bringing your cash to close. But in addition, if your reno is going to go over that 70% ARV, if it's going to cost you more, you need to make sure that you have the cash to handle the rest of that reno.
And how do they actually determine the ARV?
So they look at comparable properties that have sold in an area that are very similar, that are renovated, and they say, after you repair it, this is what you could sell it for.
It was kind of difficult with this one because it was a duplex, and the thing about this, which was kind of a diamond in the rough here, not a rough, it was actually a nice coming up area, was that it was a duplex, but it was zoned in an area that had changed over to residential. R1? R1, right. So basically nobody else could have duplexes in that area. So that makes it more valuable in an up and coming area, just because nobody else can do that, and you have opportunities to do like house hacks and different things like that, where you can get in there and you can buy it, live in one half, rent out the other half, and live for free. A lot of different opportunities there.
Yeah, and again, like he mentioned, it's in a really up and coming hot area. It's probably one of the hotter areas in the Charleston market right now, because there is a lot of different things going in. There's great places to walk. There's lots of restaurants happening. So it's an area where people want to be, especially like a younger crowd, I think, is generating towards that area.
Like younger than us.
We are. How old are we?
We're waning.
We're what?
Waning.
What?
We're in our waning years, or in our maybe our golden years.
Golden.
Yeah.
You're in your golden years. Yeah. So that's one thing to think about when you're looking at the financing of. You have to also look at comps. You're going to want to do this anyway when you're running your numbers. Without going too far down the rabbit hole here, you are going to want to run your numbers, know how much profit that you can make on the end. So you're already going to want to know what your ARV is going to be, right? So you know how much you can make, how much you're looking at risking, how much you have to put into it. So one of the things that we look at when we're looking at hard money lender, of course, is how much are they charging us? So we look at their terms, but we also look at how much are they going to charge us. Some hard money lenders vary from 2 points to 5 points, which is a percentage of the entire loan amount that they take as their fee, right?
Yeah, fixed amount.
Also on that, monthly interest payments. So with hard money loans, you pay monthly interest payments, and
which is between normally right now, but
it can be really anything, but between
9 and 14, like
15, something like
9,
that.
15.
So you can see that it can range. And again, when you're talking to hard money lenders, make sure that you're asking these things in addition to additional fees. This particular project, we could have gotten hard money lending at a much better rate. However, he brought us a deal. So we're going to go with the person who's bringing us a deal. He was out there, he was hustling, he gave us a call. We're not going to say, hey, thanks for this, but we're going to go over here. So, and this is another thing that goes to show, you never know where your next deal is going to come from, right? It could come from anything, anywhere. You got to let people know that you're interested, what you're looking for, because at any moment, somebody may have a lead, and they're going to go to you if they're thinking about you.
So that's how we got that, and that's how we financed that deal, is through hard money. And we did, how long did it take us to close? It was about, was it 2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks to close. So that's how fast they could finance it for us. Good thing is that they had already done a lot of the title work because they had already done it for the initial lender that they transferred it from. So that kind of expedited things. But they say 30 days with this lender and a lot of lenders to close on it. But usually you can get it done faster than that. And our attorneys that we're using right now, they can get expedited for you within about 2 weeks, but normally it's 2-3 weeks, up to 30 days.
And that's because of the title search that usually takes long. So it depending on what state you're in, this is going to look different. We're in South Carolina, so we go through an attorney to do our title insurance and everything like that. At other states, there's title companies, so it's going to be different and look different in every state, but this is what it looks like for us here in Charleston.
With this property, we are actually in the middle of closing out the other one while this is going on, so I'm bouncing back and forth between this one, and we looked at it, and when we acquired this one, we got numbers from the previous investor, and we went through the numbers and we looked at some.
We ran our own numbers
Right,
too.
we ran our own numbers, and with that being said, you know, she is definitely detail oriented when it comes to the numbers and things like that. But there's certain things that you don't know going into it as
You don't know until you know.
younger investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get in there and we have our numbers, and we're thinking, okay, we're going to be at this level. Let's get some contractors in and try to get somebody on the deal. Now, this is where it kind of got interesting. Not kind of got interesting. It almost made us say, let's just put it back on the market and try something else because this is not coming through. What were the different options or the different obstacles that we had when trying to find the contractor to do this job?
So we had called on a couple contractors that we used on another project that was mainly cosmetic, right? So just the finishing touches, putting in floors, nothing major. And I had reached out and I said, hey, do you think you can handle some foundation issues? Like a wall needs to be put up, a roof. Like I explained the scope of the project, but also with that said, there are different contractors who prefer to do certain levels of projects. Some people like to do the messy, heavy-duty work, and there's others where they want to just put in floors, and they're happy with that because they know they can make money at that. That's what they're good at,
Right.
and all those different things. So just understanding that as well, that there are different contractors for different projects.
Right. So we called these guys out. They got out there, and we called up a few other ones that we had that we got through networking and talking to other people, my brother a realtor, all these kind of things. And they got out there, and I mean,
we had such a range of what people were saying to us, how much it would cost, what the timeline was going to be. Some contractors that we worked before, when we could get the vibe, right? So we were walking through it, showing him, and I think he was sweating a little bit. Like, he looked like he was going to poop his pants. So we were showing everything to him, and he's like, are you sure about this? And so we already had a feeling that it wasn't a project that was within the scope of something that he was capable of handling, because he generally handles more of the cosmetic stuff, which is great. And so he never responded to us after that.
Yeah. I mean, we talk,
but just to keep that in mind, like, there are people, go with people's strengths.
Right. With that happening, that wasn't a good fit, so we couldn't go with that. Then we had other people that came in and said, just tear it down and build something new. And we're like, we're not ready for that.
And like
That's
three
not what
times,
we're looking for.
like when they were telling us to tear it down and build it new, they were saying like 3 times our budget, right? So, it was to the point where it was hitting the ARV or above the ARV to even get this done. And we were like, how can we even do this? And again, a huge range, right? From different contractors.
Right. So we finally get the final contractor in out of all of them that we've been talking to, and he gave us a number, and we're like, you know what, like, this is gonna be above what we are budgeted for. We're not gonna be able to do this. Let's turn it back to the market and just like get out of it and find something new. And at the very last second, she found somebody on Facebook Marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is also a good lesson in just making sure that you're not just stopping with a couple answers that you don't like. I mean, we spoke to
Yeah, this is about six or seven.
6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we spoke to different contractors. We were trying to find, we're like, okay, well, maybe if we get somebody to come in and just handle the foundation part. They just handle the foundation, get it back so it's not scary, and then we can bring in some different contractors who can handle the fluff. And so that was we went through every scenario, every option, and we could have just thrown in the towel. We could have just put it to market right away. And we were honestly at our wits' end. I'm like, we can't find anybody that's either within our timeline that would make sense for us, within the price point that would make sense for us. Maybe we just need to turn it to somebody who wants to take the project on and maybe has better connections or they're a contractor.
Deeper pockets.
Any of those different scenarios. So I'm looking, kind of just tired one day, and I see this thing pop up on Facebook for a contractor, and I gave him a call. Turns out this guy's a real estate investor. Was a real estate investor. He still does it, but he mainly now focuses on building houses. So with that said, with bigger projects, with foundation work, and you can look at the pictures and see just how much work needed to be done, it is a better idea to maybe lean towards those contractors who are building new houses, because they're not scared of having to fix a foundation and throw up a wall, because that's what they do. right? So they're building foundations and they're putting up their framing all day long. They understand it really well and it's what they enjoy.
So we signed him up. We told him our budget. We said, this is as far as we can go with it. What's the timeline on it? And his timeline was actually about 3.5 to 4 months below every other contractor that came in and gave us a quote on it. So we went ahead and went with him, and he definitely, we signed all the contracts, we did everything the best that we knew how to do to protect ourselves, and he did the same thing to protect him, and we went ahead and forward with it, and we have been seeing amazing progress on this project.
Yeah, we picked that up, mid-February. We're in the beginning of May right now, so.
And we're coming into the last few days of this project.
Yeah.
So in the next few weeks, what we're gonna do is going to go over the steps, the process that we went through after they started to do the renovations, and give you some updates along the way of how it goes. And in a few weeks, you'll see what happens at the very end, because we actually don't know yet, because it's not even over yet. It's not finished.
It's almost
yet.
there.
But it's almost there, and we're gonna take you through step by step what we did with this project and how it turns out. We're anxious to see how that goes too. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see when these new videos come up, and you can go ahead and check these out. And definitely check out the items in the description. It's different things that we use, different tools that we use, and different connections that we have that you may want to connect with yourself. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with us again, and we'll see you next time on Chapman True. Peace.